Hey, good morning. This is Caitlin from my channel Bendy's Books, and today I am here for some reading sprints. I am doing those every Thursday through the month of May. I'm very excited to be back to doing these. I was doing them very regularly for a while on my channel last year, and I really enjoyed having just some dedicated time to sit and read with friends and chat and whatnot. So now that life has settled back into a normal routine, I am doing reading sprints again. So this is my second one for May. I was here last Thursday around 11. I had a really great reading sprint for a couple hours. Lots of people popped in and out. And so hopefully that'll be the case today as well. As always, I'm just going to talk about my setup and my books first, and then I will put a timer on the board for that first reading sprint. So last week I started the book Chlorine during the reading sprints, and I really enjoyed it. I am a good chunk of the way in. I want to say I'm like 60 pages into it. So I'm probably going to do some more work reading on that one today. I also have After Parties, which is the same as last week, Anthony Viazna. So this is a short story collection. Previously, when I was doing short story or reading sprints before, I was really enjoying having short story collections to read because you can pretty much finish like a short story per reading sprint. And so it made it a little easier to break up the reading. So probably kind of bounce between these two books again today. And then got myself a coffee this morning. So there's a local coffee shop down the street from me called Evergreen. And I really love them. They have a very small menu, but they also have a very good menu. And they do some really unique flavors. So today I have a bourbon butterscotch latte. But last time I was there, I tried a soy sauce caramel latte, which was so good, like that sweet, salty, umami sort of flavor. And then I have already eaten it, but I had a cream cheese raspberry Danish that they made. Oh, so good. So anyways, it's been a nice morning. I took Luna for a nice walk around the lake this morning prior to this reading sprint. So she is passed out here by my feet, and hopefully she will stay nice and calm throughout these sprints. Hey, Patty, how are you doing this morning? What are we reading today? So while we get set up, I'm just going to go ahead and type in my little intro message that I like to pop up while we're reading. We are currently all right. So I'm going to get comfy here in my chair. I'm going to pull up the timer. I always run like 10 to 15 minute sprints. I think we'll start with a 15 today. And I'll put this up. All right. So first reading sprint is on the timer. 15 minutes. Oh, I'm good on the exercise bike, but reading a book of dog stories called Dogs as Co-Pilots as a palate cleanser happy read. I love it. I really enjoy books about dogs or people's relationships with dogs. I have a book on my shelf right now called The Wonder of Lost Causes that is about a young boy with some chronic illnesses, and like all he wants is a dog, but his mom doesn't want to get him a dog because of like allergies and problems with his issues. I think if I remember correctly, he has like breathing issues or something. And then this dog ends up coming into their lives. And I know it's going to be like a complete tearjerker when I get there. Okay. So enjoy your time on your exercise bike. Enjoy your dog stories. I'm going to put 15 minutes on the clock, and then we can touch base after that. So 15-minute timer is going. And if you're new here, I don't really play music in the background or anything. I just like to have nice, quiet reading time. right. There is the end. There's the end of our first reading sprint. Hopefully you've made some progress. I got about 12 pages read, which is not too bad. Let's see. As long as you don't mute Luna. I would never mute Luna. I definitely like to just read in silence though. Like I know a lot of people when they host reading sprints, they'll put a background with a timer and they'll play music, which I think is really cool. First of all, I don't know how to do it, but second of all, it's just I like just the quiet and the stillness. Like in a day that's really busy and chaotic, I like to have a couple moments of quiet. Like today I go to work at 1 and I'll be at work until 9:30 and I'll be dealing with customers and stuff all day long, you know, and lots of noise and conversation. And so for me, it's just nice to have these couple hours of just quietness and still before then. Hey, Nadim. Hello, everybody. Good morning. How are you doing today, Nadim? I'm currently reading The Crash by Frida McFadden. Okay. Thriller author, super popular. I have never read any Frida McFadden before, but I hear really good things. Quiet is always fine. Yeah, you know, there's times for sure where I don't mind like the music or the noise of an audio book in the background or whatever, but I think I'm just kind of learning with these reading sprints that personally I like a couple hours of just some calm. Excuse me. I'm so relaxed, I'm yawning. Some calm relaxation and a little bit of like time to just rest and enjoy what I'm reading. So let's I've made it to page 73 now in Chlorine. I think I'll read this for 1 or 2 more sprints. That should put me like right around the halfway mark in this book. And then I'll probably try to switch over to my short stories after that for a little bit. So yeah, continuing onward. Let me set up another sprint. So I think we'll just stick with the 15-minute intervals. I think that seems to work pretty well. So 15 minutes on the clock. I'll see you at the end. You want to come up there? All right, there's the end of that second reading sprint. I made it to page 87. Pretty good progress. Looks like we have some new people popping in. Let me just get this camera fixed a little bit. All right, so Miss Luna jumped in. Patty says hi, Luna. Oops, she's gonna hang out here on my lap for a bit. She's pretty tired because we went to the lake this morning. There's a couple lakes in this area. There's the one that I usually go to, which is Sunset Park. It's just down the street. And there's like a little lake and a pretty big park. And usually we'll walk around there. But we went there yesterday for our walk. So today we went a little farther away to this other park that has a nice lake, lots of ducks, cormorants, and a lot of turtles and stuff. And so Luna is very tired because it was a very exciting adventure for her. So how are we doing with progress on books? Nadim, did you make some progress on your McFadden book? Finished a cup of coffee and read 12 pages. Awesome. We are on the same page because I finished about 12 pages myself. How are you doing, Patty, with your book and your bike riding? Are you still bike riding or are we like done with that part now? Let's see. Oh, I'm a little sleepy this morning. I worked kind of late last night and we try to maintain like a very even schedule here. So we pretty much always try to go to bed at 9 and get up at 5 because my schedule flexes and Oz's does not. And so at least like that way we kind of maintain a pretty set sleep schedule. But some days when I work later, I have to stay up a little bit later, or some days when I have to be in at like 4 a.m. to work, I have to get up a little bit earlier. So this week and next week, my schedules are up and down quite a bit. Like tonight, I'm working until 10. And so I'm just a little discombobulated and tired this morning. I need to take mine on some trails soon. Sounds fun. No book progress, but finished exercise. Hey, progress is progress. Finishing exercise is great. It's something that I sometimes struggle to fit into my routine right now. But I'm really happy because not yesterday, but Monday and Tuesday, I got into really, really good workout routines. So a little bit of progress. Yeah, we try to take Luna on trails regularly. We live in an apartment, and so we don't have a yard. And honestly, if she doesn't get enough exercise, she turns into like a chaos monster. We do, like, even on the slower days, we walk her 3 times a day. So we get up in the morning, walk her a half hour. When Oz or I get home from work, whoever comes home first, we walk her another half hour. And then she usually gets another half hour right before bed. Like that's like our minimum routine. And then like on days where I start work a little bit later or days off, we're really good about trying to get her out to trails, go on hikes, things like that. So yesterday I took her to Sunset Park. Today I took her to this other park down the street. Tomorrow I work early, so it'll just be like a normal day. But this weekend we're thinking about going camping up in the mountains. So if we do that, she'll get lots of hiking and adventures, and it'll be a good weekend for her. So that's good. Okay, I'm at a weird stopping place with this book, so I think I'm going to continue it for one more sprint, despite saying that I was going to switch over to my short stories. But for sure, after this next sprint, going to the short stories. I just want to get to a place where like the break in the book makes sense for me. That's the hard thing about reading books for sprints. All right, so let me set up another 15-minute sprint and we can see what kind of progress we make. What are you doing? You're wiggling around over here, Luna. You good? You comfortable? You comfortable? Oh, thank you. All right, so 15 minutes on the clock again. I'll see you guys soon. Luna, slow down. Settle in. You're snorting quite a lot. You okay? What you doing? Okay. End of reading sprint number 3. So I've made it to page 107 in this book, and I think I'm finally at a good place to take a break from it. That is just a little under halfway through the book. I want to say it's 235 pages. And so, yeah, I've got about 130 more to go before this one's finished. So I think for the next few sprints, I'm going to try and get through some short stories and after parties. This is a book I've been meaning to read for a very, very long time. And I really actually enjoy reading short stories during the sprints because it allows me to like read something that fits within that sprint time. So, I just found a bookmark in this. It's kind of fun. Like I get a lot of my books secondhand, and so it's kind of fun finding like bookmarks and things that are hidden in it. It says, "Does this book make me look smart?" And then it has like an area where you can make notes on it. I think that's kind of cool. So, are you guys all sticking with the same book? Anyone switching books? Any progress updates? Luna's busy snoring away here. Ooh, she kind of knocked out. Oh, so sorry. Didn't mean to disturb you. Go back to sleep. Well, this is a pretty highly acclaimed release. This author unfortunately passed away shortly after publishing this book. You want to go down? You want to jump down? Oh, no, you're just trying to shift. Okay. So this is his short story collection featuring Cambodian Americans in Southern California. And I don't remember if this was published posthumously. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't say if this was posthumous or not. I do know that, unfortunately, either like shortly after he passed away or shortly before he passed away, this book was published. And then there was another, like, I want to say like one of his essays or something that got published after his death. Read another 15 pages. Awesome. Great progress, Nadim. 15 pages. I love that we're all making some progress on our books and goals and things here today. All right, I'm going to set up that next alarm. So we'll do 15 minutes. I think we'll see if 15 minutes is enough to get through the first story within this book. Curious to see how long the stories are. Oh, maybe not. Looks like that first story is quite a bit longer than I expected. Okay, you want to go down there now? Time to jump down? Go ahead. Here we go. All right. Let me just readjust now that Luna's down. All right, 15 minutes on the clock, and I will see you guys at the end of 15. See if we can make a little more progress. Right. There's the end of that reading sprint. All right, I made it 15, actually to page 16 in the first short story of this book. This first short story is actually like 32 pages long, so I may be able to finish the first short story by the time that we're done with the next sprint, which would be nice because that would be like a nice clean break. And then I could leave the next story for the next week, which is kind of why I like doing the reading sprints with the short stories, because it's not as hard as like leaving off a full scale novel like in a random spot. So this one, so far, I like the writing style. The story that I started is called something about donuts. Three Women of Chuck's Donuts. So it is about a family. Mom is Cambodian and came to the United States after the genocide in Cambodia. And she has two American-born daughters. She is divorced and she owns a donut shop that she has named Chuck's Donuts, despite not knowing anyone named Chuck. She just kind of picked a vaguely American name. And her donut shop is 24 hours a day, and her night employee has quit. So she's made a deal with her teenage daughters, basically, that throughout the summer, they'll work the graveyard shift at the donut shop, helping her make the donuts and like keep the business afloat. And then in turn, she'll pay them, which they can use as money towards college. And it's just really about them being in this shop at night. And there's this strange man that keeps coming in, and he buys an apple fritter every night, sometime between midnight and 4 a.m. And then he sits at a table and he doesn't eat the apple fritter and he just hangs out. He doesn't talk to anyone, doesn't do anything. He's just there sitting. So there's some speculation that he's maybe from their father's family. The father is estranged from them. There's some speculation that he might actually be their father himself. And it's kind of interesting because there's like this little bit of a mystery element. It doesn't feel like suspenseful or like creepy or anything, but it's definitely like, who is this guy and why is he there every single night? And why does he always order an apple fritter and not eat it? So be interesting to see as the story progresses what the conclusion is. Good morning. I just joined. I'm reading Women Eating by Chris Coda. I'm on chapter 5 and really liking it. Awesome. Sounds interesting. I don't think I know this one. Claire Coda. Let me see. I don't even know that author. So now I have to look it up. Women Eating. Okay, I found it. Woman Eating by Claire Coda. A young mixed-race vampire must find a way to balance her deep-seated desire to live amongst humans with her incessant hunger in this stunning debut novel from a writer to watch. That sounds really interesting, actually. I'm going to have to bookmark this because this is like something that I think I would enjoy reading. So we're going to add that to my want to read list. Thanks for the heads up. The title for the book that I'm reading, that's After Parties by Anthony Vyas Nassau. This is the short story collection about Cambodian Americans. And then the other book that I was reading earlier was Chlorine by Jade Song. And this was the one about a competitive swimmer who has a desire to actually become a mermaid. And it's like kind of literary horror. I get Woman Eating confused with A Certain Hunger, which I have read. I feel like I've heard of A Certain Hunger as well, but I don't think I have heard of Woman Eating. So this is the cover that I found for Woman Eating. And like everything about this screams that this is a book that I probably enjoy. A Certain Hunger. Why does that sound familiar to me? Oh, yeah, okay. I know what you're talking about. It does have kind of the same style on the novel cover, and this one is about a food critic. She has a clear mastery of the culinary arts, likely that she could on any given night whip up a more inspired dish than any of the chefs she writes about. Okay, so two completely different stories though. One's about vampires and one's about a food critic. Gotcha, thanks. I also bought A Certain Hunger. Both actually sound really good, and actually A Certain Hunger sounds like the type of book I would like to read too. Coming from the chef world and spending so many years in restaurants, I bet I would really relate to some of this. Let's see. Haven't read it yet. Cool. Well, we've added a couple of books to my TBR. Also, I was going to mention just briefly, I don't know if any of you guys use Pango Books, but if you do, I have a store over there, and I have a discount code if you don't have an account already. Bandy's Books, like my channel name, and it gets you a little bit of a discount on your first order. And I just wanted to let you know that they're going to have a huge Memorial Day sale coming up for that weekend prior to Memorial Day, where they give you a $5 off of anything over $25, and that can be combined with like other discounts and stuff. So just wanted to throw that out there. I post a lot of the books that are like more newer, current, on sale for Pango Books. And then it's like really, as I finish books, about 50% of my books go up for sale, and about 50% of my books go to donations for little free libraries. So like you can see the stack right here behind me sort of is books that I have listed for sale at the moment on Pango Books. And then this stack of books over there is books that I am sorting out to donate for little free libraries. But yeah, so if you like me like to get your books secondhand, I just thought I would mention that that sale's coming up, just something to be aware of. I want to say it's next weekend. Yeah, next weekend, the 24th and the 25th. So if you need to do some book shopping, have a look at Pango Books. Okay. Not that I need to buy any more books. That's my big problem too, is like, so like I sell some of the books, you know, when I can resell a few of them, and then I get credits at Pango Books to just buy more books. So it's like an ongoing cycle. Get rid of some, replace them. Alrighty. Setting up another timer, 15 minutes again, I think. Is everyone happy with that 15-minute time frame? Is that working for everybody so far? Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and set up that 15 minutes. Let me pop back to my comment here. All right. 15 minutes on the board. Luna, all done. Thank you. All done. All done. Thank you. Hey, thank you. All done. Thank you. All done. All done, mamas. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know someone's outside. Not right now. Go get in your bed. All right, guys, that's the end of that sprint. Hey, Caitlin, reading Praiseworthy by Alexis Wright. Hey, Alan, thanks for popping in and saying hello. Praiseworthy is such an interesting book. Very long, but I found it so amusing and quirky, and I'm not sure that I even understood everything that was in it, but I really ended up liking it. I want to say it was in my 24 favorites for 2024. And yeah, it was an unusual book, but I really enjoyed the experience reading it. It was my first time reading Wright's writing, and I definitely want to I definitely am considering going back and reading more of her books. So I hope that you're enjoying it as well. Yeah, definitely a unique novel. I don't even really know what to compare it to. And I think that that's kind of why it stands out, is because even when I think about it now, I'm like, wow, that's just so unique. It's like I hadn't really read anything with the same kind of plot, the same kind of writing style. Very unique book. All right, guys. So I finished that first short story in After Parties, the one about the donut shop, and it went in a different direction than I was expecting. And I actually really liked the way that this ended. This book ended up being, or this particular short story ended up being, a reflection on the power of women and what they deal with in the relationships that they choose. Anyways, I thought it was a really interesting short story. I don't want to say too much more than that because I could give it away really easy. But I really liked it, and I'm very curious to see what the rest of the stories are going to touch on. I feel like, if the first one's anything to go by, I feel like there's going to be some very strong themes throughout this book. So I'm not sure how long the next short story is. It seems like his short stories are around 30 pages each. Yeah, this next one's also pretty long. So I might just do one more reading sprint, and I think I'll probably switch back to Chlorine for this one if I can find it. Oh, there it is. And then after this one, then I'm going to have to get moving along because I have to have lunch and get things ready before I go into work at 1. So we'll set one more 15-minute sprint and then we'll be on our way. All right, 15 minutes are on the clock. I will see you guys then. right, guys, that is the end of that last sprint. So I ended up making it to page 121 of Chlorine. Yeah, this book just stays kind of brutal. There's a lot of really, I don't know what to say, cringy scenes in here. And I mean, they're meant to be cringy and make you uncomfortable as a reader. So I mean, I think it's very effective in that way. I guess I just wasn't necessarily prepared for how much of that there is in here. But it is a very interesting coming of age story so far. And I do like the writing style. I think just sometimes authors get so stuck in like describing bodily functions or things in an effort to make their writing feel edgy. And I kind of have that feeling with this a little bit, where it's like, I don't know how many times I need a description of bodily functions. So yeah, I don't know. For me, that doesn't always work for me. I think it kind of just feels like a little bit, I don't know, like I want it to be edgy in its content. I want it to be edgy in the way that it approaches like controversial topics, things like that. Not necessarily edgy just because it includes some gross description. So I'm not necessarily loving that part of it, but I do think that overall there are some interesting themes going on, and I do think it's an interesting read. So we'll see. I mean, I'm about halfway now, so we'll see how it wraps up. There's a couple different perspectives going on. We have Ren, who is the main character, and then we have her best friend, Kathy, and there's like in between Ren's chapters, some letters from Kathy interspersed. So I'm really curious where it's going to end up. And I am happy so far with After Parties. That first story that I read was 32 pages long, and I thought it was a really interesting start to the story. So I'm really curious to see where this is going to go to. So it is just about 11 o'clock. It is time for me to step away so that I can get some food, have a few minutes of, getting things organized, and, maybe prep a little bit of stuff for dinner before I have to go to work. So thank you everybody for joining in. Let's see. Interesting thoughts on Chlorine. I've had that book for ages. Hard to agree with the bodily function stuff. There was a romance I read once where the character was obsessed with poo. I was like, why? Yeah, it's interesting. I had just read this book last month, Crooked Seeds, which was on the Women's Prize long list this year. I had actually picked it up prior to the Women's Prize announcement. I found it on my library bookshelf for sale. And I was like, oh, this is set in South Africa. Sounds really interesting. And it is an interesting read. So I don't want to put anyone off. But they describe this lady's body odor quite a few times, and the uncleanliness of her lady bits multiple times in the story. And it's like, okay, I get that you're trying to give me the idea that this woman doesn't care about herself and doesn't take care of herself. And some description about her dishevelment and how she's, maybe smelly or whatever. I understand some of it, but it's it repeated it 4 or 5 times in this book. And I'm just I don't need to know about this lady's hoo-ha more than once. So yeah, I don't know, kind of the same feeling with this one so far. Both of them interesting topics, literary, good writing, but yeah, some of that description sometimes I'm just why do we need to keep re-describing this? I got it the first time that we described this. So anyways, we'll see how Chlorine goes. I'm going to finish it. I'm interested in seeing, where the character ends up. But hopefully I'm through most of the really kind of squeamish descriptions. So, okay, everyone, thank you so much for dropping in for the reading sprints today. It was so nice chatting with you. Hopefully you've all made a little bit of progress on your books. I have a reading sprint next week, I believe at 9 a.m. as well. I have reading sprints through the end of May scheduled on Thursday. My schedule at work does kind of fluctuate. It doesn't stay the same every single week. And so I do have to consider that when I schedule the reading sprints. So I've scheduled them on Thursdays through the end of May. And then when we get into June, I will take a look at my schedule and schedule a whole month's worth of reading sprints as well. I would like to ideally try to keep them on Thursday, but I don't know if that's realistic, at least one day out of, or at least one Thursday out of June. So we will see once I get a little closer to that and I'm starting to build out those schedules. And then we'll go from there. All right, guys, I hope everyone has a great day, and I'll see you next week, hopefully. Thanks. Have a great day, guys. Thank you for joining in, Patty. All right, guys, have a good day.